want to welcome our guest this morning, JoAnn Eickhoff-Shemek. And so, welcome.
Thank you.
JoAnn.
Great to be here.
And so I just sort of wanted to start off a little bit with your early background, education, degrees, that type of thing.
Okay, well, I'm from Nebraska originally, and I got all three of my degrees from the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, and started out, of course, way back then with my undergraduate program. There were no programs in exercise science, and so my major was in physical education, and graduated in '74, and thought I would want to get into teaching physical education, but after I did my student teaching, I thought, well, that's not the best match for me, and this job came up at the YWCA in Lincoln, and they hired me as their fitness director, program director.
Wow.
And so I was very fortunate to get a
just
job.
After getting your undergraduate.
Yeah, it was
That's
just a
great.
few months after I got my degree, and it was a perfect match for me to be in that kind of a position. And so I worked there for about 9 years in that position, and developed all kinds of fitness programs for our members and members of our community. And also during that time, I pursued my master's degree, again at UNL, and did my thesis on aerobic dancing. There hadn't been much research done on that at that time. And so I did a 10-week training study looking at the physiological and psychological effects of aerobic dancing. And so that was a great research experience.
Yeah.
And so then I worked, stayed at the Y for 9 years, and then I went to Omaha, Nebraska, where I took a job with the YMCA. I wanted to get more corporate experience, and so I developed some programs for some of our major corporations in downtown Omaha. And so I did that for a couple of years. I also worked in a couple cardiac rehab programs, one in Lincoln and one in Omaha, and that was a great experience looking at, getting experience in clinical exercise testing, prescription programming, and so on. And then I was kind of vacillating between, do I want to get the MBA or do I want to go for the Ph.D.? And when I was in Omaha, after I had worked at the Y, the University of Nebraska at Omaha had offered me a one-year position, one-year appointment, like a full-time position for a year. And so I had that opportunity to teach students, and I absolutely loved it. And so it helped me to make that decision to go toward the Ph.D. route. And so anyway, that's what I did. And after working in all of these different programs, community programs and clinical programs, I was really interested in legal issues and risk management issues in the field of exercise and fitness. And so with the help of my committee, my Ph.D. committee, I designed my own program. And it was a great experience. And I took classes at the Law College at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. And I took business courses at the Business College and really got some additional knowledge about legal issues and risk management issues in the field. And I had a real desire to teach courses in that area as well as to do my research in that area.
Was that in the mid-'80s, early 80s?
Yeah, well, I got, I think I started my Ph.D. after I did the one-year appointment at UNO. I was offered, I wanted to get some more research experience before I pursued the Ph.D. And I was very fortunate, again, to be offered a position to coordinate an NIH study looking at the effects of strength training on bone mineral density among premenopausal women. So I did that for 3 years and got some really good research experience in addition to the thesis that I did for my master's. And so then I started my coursework, which was probably late 80s, early 90s. And so when that NIH study was done, I at this point I probably had been working, 17, 18 years in the field in various jobs. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go full-time, be a student for 2 years, work on my Ph.D., and that's what I did. And as soon as I finished all the coursework, the University of Nebraska at Omaha Again, I had applied, they had a tenure track position open, and so I had applied for that, and again was very fortunate to be offered that position.
Oh, wow.
And so that's when I started my academic career back, I guess that was in '94, and been in academia ever since, and have developed a lot of programs, academic programs, developed a master's program in health and fitness management at UNO in Omaha, and did that and coordinated that program for, gosh, probably about 8 or 9 years. And then I was offered this position at the University of South Florida.
Which is where you are now.
That's where I'm still at.
Okay.
And this is my 8th year there. And I coordinate our undergraduate program in exercise science. And so when I came there, we made quite a few changes in the program, and we became endorsed by ACSM after a couple of years. And anyway, so that's what I'm doing right now, and have thoroughly, enjoyed when I look back at my overall career of 36 years so far, I don't think I would have made any different
That's nice,
decisions.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice. I look back and it's been a very good thing, very positive
Instead
thing.
of saying, "Ooh, I really messed up there." Well, having that opportunity to really do a sort of a tailor-made PhD was really, that's significant.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really
I think at that point, after having so many years of professional experience, I really wanted to, have a program that was really directed to my goals and what I wanted to do the rest of
now,
my career.
have you continued to, in Florida, teach classes in other aspects, like the legal aspects?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, a couple different ways. I teach a graduate course in legal, we call it legal aspects of physical activity. At UNO, it was called risk management for health fitness professionals, but I've been teaching a graduate course in that area now for about 10 years. And then at the undergrad level, I teach a course which is a management administration course, and we have a whole unit within that course on legal and risk management issues, so our undergrads get exposed to that content
Well, at
as
the
well.
time you were doing your graduate work, I'm thinking at that time that there weren't many people doing that.
Probably not.
At that stage of the game.
Yeah, probably not.
Certainly
yeah.
more recently, it's become an important thing. But
Yeah.
now, have you done any books or anything like that? It seems like this would be perfect for an important book.
Yeah, let's see. I did finally, actually, I had started this book when I was a PhD student. I did an independent study with one of my law professors to kind of start writing the first 2-3 chapters. Well, then I got so busy with, getting promotion and tenure and all of those kinds of things that got kind of put on hold. And so finally finished the book. It's called Risk Management for Health Fitness Professionals, Legal Issues and Strategies. My co-authors are Dave Herbert and Dan Connaughton, and so it was great to work with them on this project. And we published the book in 2009, and so we are still trying to get the book out there and market the book and get it to, the people that can benefit from it. Especially practitioners in the field.
Oh, yeah,
and then also another thing that Dave Herbert and I are doing right now, we're offering a course to train faculty on how to teach a course at their respective institutions. And so we're hoping to have this, it's an online training program that we're starting this
Good
summer.
idea.
And so we hope we get more faculty interested in learning how to teach a course like this, so that then students in their programs will have that knowledge and those skills and abilities related to the law and risk management, how that pertains to them, as a professional in the field.
Yeah, very important.
So we're hoping to use the book, in that way.
Did Human Kinetics publish it? Or
Oh, it's actually LWW,
Oh,
Lippincott,
good,
Williams,
good.
and Wilkins.
So it's
Yeah.
here on the
Yeah.
on the table. I'll go look
Yes,
at
it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
And so when in your career did you find out about ACSM?
Well, that's way back a long time ago, actually.
As an undergrad?
Yeah, well, it was back in the mid-'80s. Actually, I had finished my master's in '81, and the certifications started to come out right after that.
Yes.
And so probably it was in the mid-'80s to late '80s, I I really thought the certification program was such a great idea, and I thought I'm going to go and get those certifications.
Oh, good.
And so I started with the health fitness instructor certification, and then they had the health fitness director certification.
Wow, these are tough exams.
Yeah, I studied a lot for those exams, and thank God I passed them. But so I had the health fitness instructor, health fitness director, and then I also, because of my work in cardiac rehab and some other clinical jobs that I had, I thought I really needed a clinical exercise, certification. So I got the exercise test technologist certification as well. So that was my first exposure to ACSM. And then because of my interest in legal issues and risk management, for my dissertation, for my Ph.D., I actually did a study investigating ACSM's members, their opinions and perspectives of the first ACSM's Health and Fitness Standards book.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah, it was great because of the legal implications of that book, obviously, and the risk management implications of that book. And so that was a great study, and I had shared the results of that study with Jim Peterson because I knew he was one of the editors of that first edition of the book, or very involved with the book. And so anyway, he invited me to co-present with him at the second summit, ACSM Summit. And that was in, I believe it was in Austin, Texas. And so that's how I got involved with the summit, and was through Jim Peterson inviting me, and I did another presentation as well at that summit. And so anyway, I've been presenting at the ACSM Summit for ever since then, and I don't know, are we in the 15th, or I don't know how many years.
Someone asked this morning, and I think it is the 15th.
Yeah, and so it's been around for quite a while, but it's been such a fun conference to present to, and the professionals that come to this conference, I think, are the best, out there, and it's great to get to know them and interact with them here at the summit.
And these are people that really need what you're talking about because they're on the battle line, so to speak. I mean, they're every day.
Yeah. I always get a lot of really good questions.
Oh, I bet.
After
Very
the presentation.
practical.
Oh, yeah.
This happened to me questions.
And what should we have done?
Right. I'm sure.
Yeah. So anyway, and then after I got initially involved with the summit, Dr. Larry Golding, who was obviously the editor-in-chief of the journal, and program chair of the summit, he had asked me to serve as the legal columnist and an associate editor of the Health and Fitness Journal. And I was thrilled when I got that call. I thought, are you kidding me? You want me? And I was just so surprised, but so thrilled to serve ACSM in that capacity. And so I did that for 10 years. I just recently retired from that position. I thought, it's time for somebody else to take this on.
So
but,
you did it with Larry and Ed then? Okay.
Yeah, I had the privilege to work with both of them, as outstanding leaders in ACSM. And of course, Lori Tisch, who's the managing editor of the journal, and ACSM staff member who was terrific, just wonderful to work with. Oh yeah, all the ACSM staff, and like Karen Pierce, who works with the summit, and I've been involved with IAWHP, the International Association for Worksite Health Promotion, and Heather Turner is kind of the liaison for that group. And the staff members at ACSM under Jim Whitehead's leadership have just been fantastic over the years to work with. Just a real pleasure, extremely competent, and just a real pleasure to work with.
It makes it fun.
Oh, it does. It really does. And so anyway, I was on another thing that I was involved at kind of around the same time was Larry had asked me to be on the Summit Planning Committee.
Yes.
And so I was very involved with that for several years, and that was fun. It was a great group of people to work with as we planned the conference every year.
And what kind of things, perfect to ask this too, you were on the committee a number of years, you've seen changes and so forth. Could you sort of talk a little bit about maybe how things have changed and why, or did you hit it right the first time and then just kept it going, or because I've only been to about 3 of these.
Of the
so
summit?
Yeah, so I don't have a
Yeah.
lot to compare it to. But
Yeah, I think obviously, our field is always changing and evolving, and we have new literature and new research that comes out all the time. And I think what is so exciting about the summit is that the presenters that share this information with professionals is that they take this recent research, the most recent literature that we have, and they break it down and they make sense out of it for the practitioners. And so I think keeping up with these changes and how the field is evolving is something that I think is really important, that the professionals that attend here, they're getting the latest information that's out there to help them be successful. And so I guess that's really not a change that I've seen, but I think it's definitely
it's been
a goal.
a constant theme, I think, really,
yeah,
to
exactly.
keep up and make it understandable, I guess. And I noticed just by looking at the program, a lot of the people that are presenting are individuals that are doing those very jobs on a daily basis. So it seems that they can relate better with the attendees. And
I think it's a nice mix of presenters. You have the academicians, and then you also have professionals that are just doing great things in their communities and then sharing that with others. And so it's a real nice mix, I think, for the professionals that attend the conference, and they get a lot out of it.
Well, I noticed too that there's a lot of activity. Very popular I mean, the room was just filled with individuals today. So I guess that's part of the plan too, is to...
Yeah, and Joy Prouty, who coordinates all of these activity sessions and workout sessions, and she's been doing this for years and does a fantastic job in selecting the instructors, for all the workouts. But it is a lot of fun for people to get together and exercise together. And
I interviewed her last year at the summit in Austin, and she's so vibrant. I mean, I just felt like getting up and doing Zumba or something,
Yeah, you kind of get that sense from her.
Right. So back to your current position. So you have an undergrad degree and a master's?
We have both an undergrad degree and a master's degree in exercise science, and I coordinate the undergrad degree. And we're very fortunate at USF. We have, it's called a limited access program, and so students have to apply to get into our program, and we are very selective.
As a major, so to speak, once they're in USF, then they apply to come to your program. And
They enter our program in their junior year, so obviously their first 2 years they're getting all of their prereqs out of the way for exercise science, like anatomy and physiology and chemistry and all of those things, and all of their general ed requirements. And then they apply to the program, and we usually get about 60 applicants a year, and we only take 30. So it's a very competitive program to get in, and of course we get the best students, and we have great students in our program over the last several years now, and it's just really enjoyable to see that process and that growth, from the time that they enter to the time they do their internship. And then of course we really encourage, we actually require all of our students to join ACSM.
I was going to ask you. I was just ready to ask that.
I've been such a, an advocate for being involved professionally and for our students. And so they have a choice to join either ACSM or NSCA. A lot of our students want to go more into strength and conditioning. Yeah, the National Strength and Conditioning Association. And so we encourage those students to work toward their CSCS certification that NSCA provides, and then or the health fitness specialist certification through ACSM.
So you can help them. Your program can help them prepare for that as their students.
Yeah, and I have to say that over the last several years, the curriculum that we developed does very well prepare them for either the CSCS or the
great
HFS.
idea.
And all of our students who have taken those exams, all of them have passed.
Wow, that's a good record.
So it's yeah, it's great to see, and the students will tell me, well, that test wasn't that bad, and I'm like, but it was when I took it. What do you mean? And so I thought they were very difficult, but I think they're just so well prepared now.
They're better prepared.
Yeah, much better than I probably was. And the coursework now is really, we really look at those KSAs, and we gear the coursework around those KSAs, and so that's why I think they're pretty well prepared.
They're ready when
Yeah.
the time comes.
Uh-huh.
Well, now, what do your undergrads do? Do you find many of them going on for a master's and so forth? I'm sure you have a mix that.
We really do. I mean, they all go different directions, and some of them go into allied health. They get into physical therapy or occupational therapy. Some want to become physician assistants or even get into med school.
Sure.
So we have that group. We have a group that, probably the biggest group, really want to pursue more health and fitness kind of jobs and corporate health promotion programs or YMCAs. We have a lot of retirement centers in Florida, and so we have a lot of our grads that are working in those kinds of positions.
But it sounds like employment opportunities are there.
Yeah, they are. They are. The economy has affected everybody, but there are really good opportunities. A lot of our students get some very good jobs. And then, of course, we have a group that's another part of our graduates that are very interested in strength and conditioning, sport performance. Tampa has a lot of professional sport teams, and so our students have opportunities a lot of times to do their internships, with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Yankees.
That
and
would be exciting.
Yeah, and they have, right now the Tampa Bay Lightning, are in the playoffs, and so we have a student doing his internship there, and he gets to see all the excitement with that. And
So an internship is a requirement in your program.
Yeah, the last semester, they actually do a 30-hour a week. They complete 30 hours a week for 15 weeks. So it's a total of 450 hours. So they get some really good practical experience. And we're so fortunate in Tampa to have so many great sites, where we have these professionals who work as their supervisors and their mentors. And they just get wonderful experiences and so well prepared, I think, after that internship to enter the field.
Well, so in your undergrad program, do you have specialization tracks depending on area of interest, or?
Not really, not at the undergrad level. At the grad level, we kind of direct students to certain courses based on their kind of interest or specialization they want to pursue. But the undergrad, they all take the same courses. They come in as a group, as a cohort, and they go through the same courses for the 2 years. And we kind of expose them to everything. They have an exercise testing class, and then they have a clinical exercise testing class. They have exercise psychology, strength and conditioning, program planning, emergency preparedness. Of course, given my legal background and interest in that area, I thought it was really important for students to have a course, not just to get their first aid, CPR, and AED certifications, but how to put together a written emergency action plan. And so that course prepares them how to do that based on the standards and some of the legal issues, related to that in the field. And so they get a variety of courses. They have a physical activity epidemiology course, and of course ex-phys and biomechanics and all those kinds of things. So our goal was to give them a very broad experience.
Sounds good.
And again, using the KSAs to kind of drive that curriculum. And so they're well prepared, I think.
And then when they do their internship, then that would be their opportunity to go in a certain direction.
Exactly, exactly. And that's where they kind of specialize, I guess, I really am interested in strength and conditioning, or I'm really interested in corporate health promotion, or some of our students sometimes will even do their internship in physical therapy clinic if they have a real genuine interest in pursuing physical therapy and have met some of the qualifications to pursue that. And so anyway, they actually complete their internship in a variety of settings, depending on what they think they want to pursue, at least at that point.
Well, anyhow, as I said, time goes very fast. I just wanted to ask you one more thing, and that is, back to the summit. You've been involved almost for the first 15 years, sort of off and on in one way or another. where do you see the summit now, and do you think things are moving along okay? Do you see sort of a change in coming on, or do you have any ideas about the future?
Yeah, I think one thing, if there's any kind of a change, I think for professionals entering the field and some things that they should be aware of is I think being more accountable for what you're doing and being able to produce results in your programs and be able to evaluate your programs to show that you are producing the results and meeting the goals and the objectives of your organization. And so I think that is something that is changing compared to when I entered the field many, many years ago. And I think professionals really need to be aware of the work that they're doing, and making sure that their work is safe and effective for their participants, and that it's meeting the goals and objectives of the organization that they're working for, and have that accountability and responsibility. So I think that's probably one main thing that I kind of see, and I tell my students, you have to really, be accountable for what you're doing and to be able to measure those things.
Yeah, which people didn't tend to think that much about it; they just did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if there's one other thing that I'd like to end with, I guess we're getting kind of close, right?
Yes.
Okay, is that if people that are watching this or listening to this, one recommendation I definitely would have is to get involved, to give back to the profession and to volunteer. And there's one book that I really like. It's called The 10 Natural Laws of Successful Time and Life Management by Hiram Smith. And law number 10 is give more and you'll have more. And I feel strongly about that, and I definitely believe in that principle or that law. And I know for me, in what I have done, the little that I have done for Acsm over the years, and the volunteer efforts and the contributions, even though I've given a lot of myself and my time and my effort and energy, I have gotten so much more back
very good
from the
point.
relationships that I have developed and just the opportunity to be involved in moving the profession forward. So I would really encourage people to give of themselves and to volunteer and make a difference.
Right. That's a very good point. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you so much, Jack.
That was
Pleasure.
fun.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.